So as you know, I'm an artist. I'm planning on minting and selling NFTs this year. So that's my own point of view. However, I'm separating this endeavor from my analysis, which, I used to work in the government. I used to be a political analyst. I still am a political analyst in my heart, which means that, political analysts study power and they study how power flows in different situations. So when I look at the NFT world, I'm trying to figure out what this thing actually means for our civilization. That's how I'm looking at it. And that's why I'm interested to give this lecture to you, because what's, the connection between our class and like the broader NFT world and universe is like, P5JS, which we're learning, is used to make NFTs. NFTs are somehow like in the center of all this weird, like crypto world, fighting traditional banking institutions, democratization versus authoritarianism. Is it a scam? There's just a Ponzi scheme. There's the elites. There's like literally so much wrapped up in NFTs, which is why I'm talking about. So this is not going to be like a computer science lecture. This is more of a political economy or kind of like an analysis of NFTs. Well, you know what? It's not even analysis right now. At this stage, it's just an open-ended like exploration of this topic with you, so that by the time the class ends, I'll probably will talk about NFTs a couple of times, but I just want to situate your mind in kind of thinking about NFTs so that you kind of have a framework to think about it going forward. Because I do believe that they're going to be something. It's not going to be just nothing. That's my fundamental belief, which is why I'm spending time making them and thinking about them. Disclaimer: I'm not endorsing any point of view of anyone I'm showing this lecture. I'm literally just showing different viewpoints. I think you know this about me already, but I'm not trying to push anything on anyone. I just wanted to show different viewpoints. Okay, so we're going to start by just watching these two videos. Let me just see that.
Thank you for watching. For more of our coverage.
So confusing, right? And I was confused watching videos to present to the class. I think the only thing that's like a clear message from that whole video, if you look at any journalism behind NFTs, it's all confusing because no one really knows what NFTs is. Like, no one really has a grasp of what it is, and like no one can put it succinctly in one like comprehensible narrative. And the people that do are missing part of it for sure. I think the only thing that is like that really makes sense from what we just saw is the end part where they said like this is something that's like, it's kind of like in the 1990s .com bubble. Probably a lot of you were just like babies at the time, but it's like it was the time when it's like the internet was just getting going and there was so much inflation in it and there's so much like kind of speculation, but eventually things kind of settled down into like the internet that we know today. So I think a parallel is being drawn about NFTs and blockchain, where it's like now it's all this crazy stuff happening, but that doesn't mean it's just craze. Like there's something underlying it, so it's something. I guess the only thing to take away from this video is like it's something to keep watching. It's something that's important, not necessarily going to go away. It might just stick around and be the backbone of the future society, whatever it is. All right, we only got 15 minutes left, so we'll definitely do much less of this lecture than I thought. But it's kind of like, for me, this is what NFTs are. It's really hard to talk about because they're like the intersection of so many different things. There's like art and expression, there's the finance, commodity, all that stuff, Wall Street that led to the 2008 crash, all those like all that greed. There's climate change and the fact that like the blockchain requires like a lot of energy to produce one. There's the fact that like NFTs are kind of representing this wave of emerging technology that just keeps hammering our civilization and changing everything. The fact that NFTs are intrinsically involved in internet culture and internet expression, like it's its own kind of bubble. It's like the internet culture really coming out to the real world, and we've seen many ways the internet culture has come out into the real world. Think about like Logan Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather. Think about like how Logan Paul got famous from the internet and how like that fame, you used to be called internet famous and that didn't mean much, but now internet famous is real famous, so like NFTs are very much a manifestation of this power. There's also the authoritarianism versus democracy angle. Like a lot of the moral the moral quest that a lot of people who are in the NFT and crypto community think that they are building, like enshrining like the only like decentralized like ways of life, decentralized paradigms, decentralized, like they're enshrining democratization in a system that is prone to greater centralization. You know, so like there's a whole like the elites and the people versus like the elites versus the people, and like we need to rise up and make sure that the future is equitable and just. Like, so there's also that running through the NFTs. There's a lot of different things to unpack when it comes to NFTs, which is why it's really rare to see something talk about it coherently, even some news segment. Okay, so because we have limited time, I guess I'll just leave it at this, because I want to go through criticisms of NFTs at a later week, and definitely, you know, there's some links on here, and this video right here is probably the most thorough. It's probably the most thorough like takedown of NFTs. This guy really like goes to town on it. But you know, there's also a bunch of different views, and I like to see a bunch of different views. And since we only have like 10 minutes left, I just want to go through. I just want to go through this. So I'm going to do something a little unconventional, which is read you out some tweets that I saw on Twitter. But I think this gives you a sense of how the people in the NFT community communicate, which is all through Twitter, and like what's happening on Twitter right now, and how like there is actually an interesting exchange of ideas. Okay, so this tweet series is called "On a Pathway to an Open Metaverse." We are going to make a run at changing the arc of history. So pretty grand statement there. It's Return of the Jedi versus the Death Star style mission. They have the money and power. We have our brains, community, and GM. GM means good morning, which is like a lexicon for the people in the NFT world. But it might just be enough. So already you see this person is really setting the stage of how this community sees itself, and it's like its mission, and why, you know, why there's so much. When you ask yourself, why do people spend money on NFTs? It's good to read stuff like this to understand the mindset of the people in the community. So he's talking about himself, or she, who knows. 6529 has been involved in crypto since BTC summer 2013. I think that's Bitcoin. I'm not really sure. From the first day, I was convinced that Bitcoin and its successors would change the world, make it a better world, decentralize money away from choke points, and that was a net good for humanity. So you see that they are framing themselves in this way, like they are fighting for the little person. I played a small role in Bitcoin's development and practice and acceptance. All right, so we know that the person writing this is some kind of insider who has an anonymous Twitter account, but is saying enough stuff that you know that to indicate that they may be from this world, but you don't know exactly where. They remain anonymous. Small in the scheme of things, but important to me. And at the time, it was a risky move. And since then, I've been waiting for a more decentralized social system to emerge, and waiting and waiting. This person had institutional credentials. I am completely comfortable in the system, and the system is good to me. I'm not a loser in the current system. I'm a winner. But my heart is in crypto, and I spent a lot of time on crypto in real life, so I know a lot about crypto. So this person is within the traditional banking system, but is in the crypto. You know, that is the assumption on this tweet right here. I did not seriously look at NFTs until February. So this was done in 2021. This is like last year. I did not seriously look at NFTs until February, and within months. Well, I like the JPEGs, and by summer I had quite the NFT portfolio. So what next? Okay. It was an easy choice to sit back and relax, enjoying my IRL life while making lots on Ether and looking at pretty JPEGs is about as level 4 as you can get. Okay. A lot of terminology I don't really get. I guess level 4 means you have gathered a lot of stuff. All right. I have a problem, and the problem is I can see a window, a wormhole, and a lever that can lead to an open metaverse. It is one of the most important things in the world, and it is a very narrow window, both scope and time limited. Soon it will be too late. All right, so you have like almost a messianic quest to save the world in this. It is very easy to complain that the world isn't how it should be while doing nothing about it. In fact, while contributing to the exact problem we are complaining about, talk is cheap. If level 4 and level 5 people like you, like a lot of crypto whales, aren't willing to put skin in the game in decentralization, then we are LARPing. We're bullshitters. We're just using decentralization for marketing. So I guess this messaging is he's talking to people. I guess people at level 4, level 5, and whales are people who have a lot of crypto for some reason. They maybe got in early in the game and they watch this crypto has increased in price. So they're all millionaires now. So all of their talk about the people and all that, they're definitely not the people in the financial sense. They are wealthy people. But he's making an appeal to his like peers, basically saying we need to put some skin in the game in decentralization. Decentralization is the common theme among people who in the NFT crypto world. And the question is like, if we're not, are we just bullshitting or using decentralization for marketing? Is it what everyone says it is? You saw in the video, they were saying that NFTs are like a Ponzi scheme. And if decentralization is just marketing, then indeed NFTs are a Ponzi scheme. But these tweets are basically pushing back against that idea, being like, we're real. We want to actually pursue these ideals in real life. We're not actually just using it to get more money. So in late July 2021, this account was booted up. If you want to build, okay, there's a quote about inspiring people. What do I yearn for? That our children and grandchildren will remain free, that they remain sovereign beings, that we don't sleepwalk into a panopticon society controlled by a handful of people with a God view of big data, machine learning enabled system. Now, I think this tweet is important because this really expresses like the aspirations of this community. It's like NFTs somehow are linked to a resistance against a machine learning centralized like surveillance capitalism, or I guess, or in China, surveillance authoritarianism. Like in a way, they're two sides of the same coin, which is everything's going to increasingly centralized, and where are we going to fit into all this? So like they look at themselves as like the only alternative to this, really, like technologically. This sounds dramatic, but the trend line on this topic is bad. China is already gone, and the US and EU are creeping in the wrong direction. We need to act now before it becomes irreversible. All right, so very messianic, very time limit. We got to act now, this kind of thing. Acting now is a no-lose proposition. If the apologists are right and the system is not centralizing, then our efforts at decentralization will be welcomed by government and companies. If we are not welcome, that will be a good thing. We acted. All right, just kind of. This is some other threads that he wrote, which are all interesting, which I will go through at some later point. He's talking about what are we going to do? My view is the current outcome of the metaverse will be centralized. Big tech is the talent, money, and massive reach, and interestingly, the full support and encouragement of nation states exercise more control, not less control. So what's left for us? There's only one thing stronger than money, tech, talent, and the vast power of the federal government. And the one thing is shared myths or memes. Now this is where NFTs come in. Memes are the apex objects of society. Now you ask questions, why are they spending millions of dollars on these little like stupid GIFs? Because memes for them are the apex object of society, or at least for this person, who I think is articulating not just his personal view, but like a view of a lot of people in this community. In consumerist democracies like the US and Europe, memes elect politicians. They drive, that's questionable at best. Memes elect politicians. However, it is undeniable that memes have a serious political impact on political discourse. Look at the rise of the Trump presidency, how it was meme to existence. Memes are no joke. Pepe the Frog, that's a meme. That meme is no joke for what it's inspired. They drive consumption and corporate earnings and set the direction of society at large. Now, massive overstatement, yet there is a truth in that. The system is good at memes too, by the way. Check out these two good ones. Okay, basically saying that the United States flag is a meme is, it's a little questionable, but now with NFTs, we have the most potent meme technology ever developed. Unlike the past, anyone can own a part of a powerful meme. So you have like the idea that memes as like symbols and myths of society, and the fact that you can own these things. Now you ask the question, why do people buy these stupid JPEGs and GIFs? This is why. You're owning the myths of society. That's how they look at it. The medium is a message. That is a reference to Marshall McLuhan, who wrote the famous essay called Medium is a Message. Marshall McLuhan, medium is the message. I'm like butchering the spelling, but if you want to look it up, very famous essay on like in the early days of telecommunication. Anyways, two main. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at this because we're running out of time. But there are two main messages to the execution plan I would like to take away from you. NFTs are people. Memes is greater than land. So we're running out of time. I'm gonna leave it there, but I'm gonna continue this another day. Maybe not next week, but another day where we have a opportune time. But just to get you thinking about the different views of NFTs and how they view themselves and all the things that NFTs are linked to, just start thinking about it. Okay, that's pretty much it for today. Next week is going to be, let me just stop sharing.